What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Nate. I want to say thank you guys if you are returning, and if you're new, I want to say welcome to the channel. All right, you came to the right place. We talk about a lot of things here, especially when it comes to your purpose in life, navigating through life, and really understanding people, dynamics, and just hopefully giving you some good things to think about, guys. In today's video, if you clicked on it, today's title is going to be "She Doesn't Care About Your Feelings." All right, pretty controversial statement. Some women might disagree with me, but let me explain. Okay, let me explain. All right, when it comes to men and women, we have different ways of expressing our feelings and ways of solving problems, right, when it comes to our life. And guys, one thing you have to remember, right, one of the most valuable things you can get in this life is the ability to empathize or put yourself in someone else's shoes. If you have a girlfriend, you've had a girlfriend, or even if you just had someone in your life, that's a woman, right? A mom, a sister. If you're a man, you probably have a very hard time relating and trying to understand or even fix a woman's problem, right? In fact, 99% of the time, they really don't want their problems to be fixed, right? Unless they ask you outright, how can I fix this problem? What can I do better, right? Most of the time, they are venting. But see, guys, we are natural problem solvers. We are logical thinkers. So we jump the gun and we want to take control of the situation, and we don't want to empathize and listen. So for us, if we've had a girlfriend or someone in our life who has done this a lot, right? If they do it a lot, right? If they vent to us a lot, it can become disheartening, right? Especially if they don't want any sort of solution to their problem. And so it can become a turnoff, right? The same way, well, kind of, in slightly different ways, but it's the same outcome, right? Same way when you start to vomit your feelings to a woman, when you start to just let her know about all the problems in your life and all the things going wrong and how awful everything is and how things are just going to crap. You see, women, guys, I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret here, okay? I've lived a lot of life in the life that I've lived so far, okay? And I can tell you one thing, especially when it comes to women, guys, they want to be heard, right? They want you to listen to them. They also want you to give them good feelings. If you can give a woman good feelings, guys, that's really all it takes. I know there's a lot of guys out there who say you got to be an emotional roller coaster. Don't get with those women, because then you're going to become something you don't want to be. You don't want to be in a manipulative situation or relationship, guys, that never ends well. But you want to bring her on a good roller coaster, right? One that she enjoys, one that she knows that it's okay to ride with you. And guys, when it comes down to it, she wants you to fix your problems. A woman does not want you to complain to her about all the things wrong in life. And here's why, guys. See, for us guys, we think it's venting. We think it's just, okay, if I can just tell her, she can see things in a different light and she can help me. Now, I'm going to go into this a little bit further because there are some women who can help you, but let me mention this first, all right? With your problems, if you're talking to a woman and you're just complaining, right? If you are not actively seeking a solution, if you are not trying to reach a solution, but you are just complaining, or you're just negative, or you're just depressed, or you're just venting and just being all, whatever, guys, she is going to see that as one of the most extremely unattractive things you could ever do. She does not care about how you feel, right? Because as a man, you are supposed to feel grounded. You are supposed to be her rock. When you are shaken, when everything's going to crap, when you are depressed, when everything's bad, and all of a sudden you start getting emotional like a woman. See, we don't like to think about this as guys. We like to think it's okay to break down and be hysterical in front of, our girlfriends, our wives, whatever. Even potential, girls that we're dating. Some guys, they break down. Women don't want that, guys. Women do not want to be your mother. As much as they might say, oh, I don't mind mothering you. No, they do not want to be your mother. They do not want to have to console you. All right. They want you to figure out your stuff. If you need to figure out your stuff, you need to talk to men. You need to find good men in your life, strong men, men who are not wasting their lives away, partying, doing a bunch of just empty stuff. You need to find men who are on their stuff, who are on their purpose. Older men, men who have experience, men who have wisdom, you need to be around these men. You need to talk to these men, right? Fathers, of successful households, things like that, right? You don't have to go after millionaires or CEOs of companies, although sometimes those can be good people to look up to. But I'm talking about good people in general. You can find a lot of really wise men who will be more than willing to help you, to understand where you're coming from, to give you advice. You see, good men, I want to talk about this briefly. Good men are going to want to help other men. We have this weird idea these days that, men don't want to hear it either, right? And if you're around these type of men, guys, I would caution you. I would almost advise you to get away from them. If your guy friends, if your buddies are never going to listen to you, are never there to help you, are never there to help you through, right? Just like iron sharpens iron. If one falls, there's another to help pick him up. Guys, if they don't have that brotherly love, you are wasting your time. It is better to have one or two close guy friends you can count on, you can trust with everything, over having, 50 friends who all they want to talk about is drinking, girls, playing video games, and just the next new exciting, stimulating thing, right? You don't want to be around a bunch of dudes who just talk about porn stars and who talk about what girl they're going to get this weekend and what girl they just had last night. And, oh, let me tell you what happened. Oh, let me tell you this. Guys, it's empty. It's pointless talk, right? So find men that you can actually talk to, all right? Now, I did say I was going to talk about women who are good, right? Who will listen and help you with some of your problems. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is going to be the exception to the rule, okay? These women are extremely rare, okay? I hate to say it, but almost, pretty much a unicorn. There are women out there who care about their men, especially their husbands, their boyfriends, things like that, right? There are women out there who will swear up and down that it does not do anything to them. But let me tell you something, guys. Women have a threshold, okay? Again, if you are with a good woman who is emotionally grounded, mentally grounded, right? And you have let me say this. There are very specific things in your life that pertain to her, or maybe things that would be beneficial to open up to her about. Sometimes it can be useful to talk about it. Communication is a big deal in relationships, and some guys close up completely. You see, some guys, as men, we're very black and white, right? We either open up way too much, and like I said, we get hysterical and emotional, or we close up and never say anything, all right? I don't think it's wise to be either of those extremes, because there are certain situations, there are certain things in your life you will have to talk to your wife about, especially men. I'm going to give you guys a key here. If she confronts you about them, all right? If she's confronting you with something specific, right? If it's something that is like she's calling you out on something specific, the worst thing you can do is sweep it under the rug. Now, if she's asking you if you're having a bad day, well, guys, that's up to you to really, figure out how to handle that. Most of the time, you just don't need to really talk about it, right? You're just going through some stuff. You can just be like, you don't have to lie, guys, but you can just say everything's all right, or you can just be like, it's okay. Most of the time, I'm going to be real with you guys. If women are doing that to you guys, sometimes they can be projecting, right? And they really want you to ask about their day, and they're having, maybe a crappy day, crappy week, whatever. But there are good women out there who will listen to you, right? There are women out there who will care for you, but you don't, and this is key, guys, you do not want a woman to become your mother. Some men, maybe subconsciously, will try to turn women into their mother, and some women unconsciously, I believe, will fall into this role. Good meaning women too, but they will fall into this role where they're more motherly. And guys, if you want your woman to lose attraction for you, this is one of the fastest ways to do it. All right, one of the fastest ways for her to stop respecting you as much, right, is when you, for prolonged periods of time, become weak, become self-loathing, become depressed, because like, you need to be on top of your stuff, guys. There's a lot of men out there these days who are always moping around. I'm depressed, I have anxiety. I get it, guys. You know, I've been through that stuff as a man, but you have a bigger responsibility, especially if you're married, especially if you have kids. But you have a bigger responsibility. You need to figure your stuff out. And that's why I recommend having men in your life that you can talk to. Your wife will not be able to fix your man problems, so to speak, right? You need to find good, godly, upstanding men in your life that you can fall back on, that you can call, right? That you can meet up with, that you can be like, hey, you know, again, as men, sometimes we're like, man, I need to have buddies. I need to go to the bar. I need to go golfing. You know, what you need is, you need good, strong, upstanding men who live on the straight and narrow, so that when life gets hard and life hits, you can actually work through things. And guys, most of the time, just by having a conversation with a guy, with a good, you know, upstanding guy, you can figure a lot of stuff out. They can encourage you. They can tell you where you're going wrong. They can be like a brother to you guys. It can be a life-changing experience. And most men don't know what that's like. Because if you don't, guys, I'm seeing this more and more as, you know, as people get isolated. I'm seeing this more and more as people are becoming more just, you know, disconnected, right? You have a lot of men who, when they get into relationships, they just cut off all their friends. They start relying on that woman. And I think a lot of it, guys, if we're being real, a lot of it is the fact that a lot of men have issues with their mother, right? Emotional issues, emotional attachment issues. That's a subject for another video. But you cannot replace your wife. You cannot turn your wife into your mother. You cannot, do not, because it's going to make everything horribly worse, right? That's the number one way to make a woman just completely burnt out, completely fed up, lose attraction for you. You do not want her to see you as a helpless child. You need to pick yourself up and keep moving forward. Now, I'll end the video with this, guys. If you want to find a good woman, right? If you want to find a woman who, you know, when times get really tough, that will not run at the first sign of you opening up to with your emotions, because I'm seeing this across the board. I'm trying to stay away from it because it's so, like, the idea is so poisonous, but I get it, right? And I've lived it. There are some women out there who they cannot deal with emotions. In fact, I would say most modern women cannot. So be aware of that. Most modern women cannot handle emotions. Just like a lot of guys these days, once they get close to a woman, they either ghost them, pull away completely. They just, a lot of women complain like, oh, you know, he was the nicest guy, but once he got what he wanted, he just like ghosted and dipped. A lot of men don't know how to handle their emotions either, but I'm going to talk to primarily the men here. A lot of women don't know how to handle it, guys. You think because they're, you know, emotional creatures, they know how to handle emotions better. In some ways, yes. They're better at living with it, don't get me wrong. But they do not want you to dump. They do not want to be your emotional dump, right? They do not want to be the woman who is taking all of your crap, who's having to fix everything for you, right? And a lot of women will run because a lot of women aren't emotionally regulated. So, guys, the best way to, you know, figure out if a woman can actually handle emotions or not is just talk to her, right? Go out and do stuff together. You can figure this out very, very quickly if you date somebody, if you go out with them, the way they talk to you. See, there's been girls I've met in the past, right? Especially, hindsight's 2020. But there were girls like I would meet and then we'd go out on a date and they would be a totally different person on the date. Totally different, right? Like in front of people, around people, they had it all together. Everything was great. But then as soon as we were, alone, as soon as we were just talking together, completely different, right? Like their whole life is in shambles. They're spilling their guts, right? Now, that's a sign, again, that she's probably not emotionally stable, because if she's spilling all that to, you're pretty much a stranger at that point, then, guys, there's a lot that goes on there, right? Some of it could be for attention. Some of it could be she doesn't know how to regulate. Some of it she's trying to find like a father figure in you. A lot of women will try to find a father figure in the men that they date, right? Just like men will try to find a mother. But as people, we need to make sure that we're emotionally regulated. So you can find out very quickly, right? How does she treat other people? How does she talk about situations that are tough in life? Guys, it's the little things, right? Let's say y'all go out on a date. One of y'all orders you order a Dr. Pepper, right? She orders a Dr. Pepper. They give her a Coke. How does she react to it, right? Does she flip out? Does she complain? Does it ruin the night? Right? Let's say you plan a date to go somewhere, you go there and they're temporarily closed, right? Or they're shut down. Does she get all moody and depressed and bored, right? Or is she happy to just spend time with you, right? Is she happy y'all are just together? So there's a lot of little things you can look for. You don't necessarily have to get into a committed relationship and start spilling, deep things about yourself to figure out if this person is emotionally regulated. But the biggest thing, guys, and I'll leave you with this. The biggest thing is make sure that she is a kind and patient person, all right, across the board. If she's kind, if she's patient, she's going to want to uplift you. She's going to want to build you up. She's going to want to make your life better. When things get hard, if she knows that you're having a tough time, if she can tell, right? If it's just obvious, if she knows there's certain things going on in your life, if you've kind of opened up to her about these things, which, guys, I believe if you find a good woman, you should, again, if she's asking you things, you should open up to her, because she wants to know you. She wants to understand you. There's a difference between she wants to know you and understand you versus she's trying to just know things about you to use them against you. What does her character say, right? What is she like? That's how you know how much you should open up. But being kind and patient, guys, that is, to me, the litmus test. Because if she's kind, if she's loving, if she's patient, if you tell her things, she's not going to use those things against you. She's not going to attack you, right? She's not going to want to break you down. She's not going to want to use those things against you. She's going to want to actually help you, build you up. Again, don't just rely on her, right? Don't just like, oh goodness, like she's going to fix my problems. No. But good women will want to help you. They'll want to build you up. So guys, I know I started the video saying that she doesn't care about your feelings, because most women, they truly don't. They are looking out for themselves. They're looking out for number one. They are looking out for their feelings, what they want. Guys, it's just how it is. There's women out there who will cheat on you, who don't think it's wrong at all. But the second you cheat on them, all of a sudden it's a horrible thing, because it makes them feel bad, right? It's just a thing, right? And so you do not want to be with a pathological liar. You do not want to be with someone who thinks that anything they do is justified because of how they feel. And again, you can pick up on this pretty quickly. So make sure that you are talking to the right kind of women, because most women don't care about your feelings. But some, the right ones, the good ones, the ones who are understanding, will. But make sure that you're a man. Make sure that you're someone who can regulate your emotions, who has your life in check, who knows when to open up. And just be wise, guys. Just be wise. If you guys need anything or have any questions, if you need me to explain anything further, or just want to share an experience, Let me know in the comments below, but I'll see y'all at the next one.